A very good afternoon to everyone. Welcome back to Civics first year class. In yesterday's class, we have discussed Constitution. We discussed the features of Constitution. Then I explained you about written and unwritten Constitution, enacted and evolved Constitution, rigid and flexible Constitution. Then we also discussed about merits and demerits of written Constitution. Today, we will discuss merits and demerits of unwritten Constitution and differences between written and unwritten Constitution. After that, we will discuss very short answers of this chapter. So let us start with the merits and demerits of unwritten Constitution. I told you yesterday what is an unwritten Constitution. What is an unwritten Constitution? See, unwritten Constitution is one in which the provisions of Constitution are not in a single document, And this Constitution, it includes or it is based on several customs and traditions. Unwritten Constitution, it is prepared from time to time. So what type of Constitution it is? Unwritten Constitution. Unwritten Constitution is evolved Constitution. That means it is prepared from time to time. So once we say it is an unwritten, that means its nature is flexible. Unwritten Constitution is flexible. So what do you mean by flexible? Flexible means it can be amended easily. It can be amended easily. So as the customs and traditions are the basis for this Constitution, the customs and the traditions, they form the provisions of the Constitution. So the customs and traditions which are prevailing becomes the part of Constitution. So it is easy to amend. Amend means change. The meaning of word amend is change. It can be changed easily. Okay. So if you see the merits, it always undergoes the process of evolution. Evolution means it keeps on growing. It is not made at a time. It is made from time to time. And the aim of it is bettering the best. The aim of it is bettering the best. The next is it can be amended. Amended, I told you, the meaning of word amend is to change. So it can be amended according to the needs and aspirations of the people. Popular needs means needs of the people. It can be changed according to the needs of the people. It gives no scope for revolutions. Revolutions means revolt. Okay. There is no scope of revolt because the changes are made according to the needs of the people. Okay. So it concedes to the popular demand. It satisfies the demands of the people. So let us move to the next. Demerits. So what are the demerits of unwritten Constitution? As it is flexible in nature, it is subject to frequent changes. Okay, changes can be made very frequently. It is not suitable for federation. A country having federal form of government, that is having two governments, central and the state government, for such type of countries, unwritten Constitution is not suitable. Written Constitution is suitable for federation, but unwritten Constitution is not suitable for the federation. Here, the legislature, parliament means here we say legislature. It is more powerful or more dominant, we say. The legislature is more dominant than other organs of the government. Okay. And it fails to protect the rights and freedoms of the people. as it is subject to frequent changes. So the rights and freedoms of the people are not protected here, and it is an informal in nature. Let us move to the next. That is differences between written and unwritten constitution. Students, if you are thorough with merits and demerits of written and unwritten constitution, it will be easy for you to differentiate between these two. The merits of written constitution will become the demerits for unwritten constitution. Just now I told you, unwritten constitution is not suitable for federation, but written constitution, it is suitable for federation. So merit of written constitution will become a demerit of unwritten constitution. Okay, so it is very simple if you are thorough with the merits and demerits. So let us see the differences. Okay, so written constitution, it is a document in which the rules of the organs of the government are clearly mentioned. Okay, written constitution, all the rules, the rights and duties of the citizens are clearly written down. Whereas unwritten constitution, the basic principles of the state are formed in the form of customs and traditions. Okay, customs and traditions, it becomes the basis for the provisions of the constitution. As it is prepared at a time, it is prepared by a body of people called Constituent Assembly. It is prepared by the body of people called Constituent Assembly. It is evolutionary in nature. It is evolved. Its nature is evolutionary. See, when we say it is prepared, we can also say it is enacted. It is evolved in nature, evolutionary in nature. So it is prepared from time to time. It cannot be amended easily. It cannot be easily amended. Amend means change. It cannot be changed easily. But unwritten constitution, it can be changed. It can be amended easily. So I repeat these 3 points again. The written constitution, it is a single document which consists of rules and regulations which are governing the organs of the government, and it also includes the rights and duties of the citizens. But the basic principles in unwritten constitution, they are in the form of customs and traditions. Okay, it is prepared by a body of people called Constituent Assembly. So it is an enacted constitution. It is evolutionary in nature. It is prepared from time to time. Now, it cannot be changed easily. Changing a written constitution, it consumes time. It is not that we cannot change. We can change it, but it is time consuming. Okay. Whereas unwritten constitution, it can be amended easily. I hope I'm clear with this. So, written and unwritten constitution, it is very easy topic. If you are well versed with this, then you can easily write. And mostly, the question for 5 marks is asked. What are the differences between written and unwritten constitution? Okay. So, let us move to the other differences. The court protects the rights of the people. In unwritten constitution, the rights of the people, the liberties of the people are protected by the court. But here, court cannot provide protection to the rights of the people. Why? Because it is easy to amend. It is flexible in nature. So protecting the rights of the people is difficult here. So to protect the rights of the people, the constitution should be in a written form. So written constitution, it provides for political stability. Okay, it provides for the political stability. But here, unwritten constitution, it does not guarantee political stability. It is suitable for federation. Okay, written constitution, it is suitable for federation, whereas unwritten constitution, it is not suitable for federation. It is suitable for unitary form of government. It is suitable for unitary form of government. It is not suitable for federal system. Okay, if you see the examples, the Constitution of India and USA are the best examples of written constitution. The Constitution of India is a written constitution. The Constitution of USA is also a written constitution. Coming to the example of unwritten constitution, the British Constitution. Yesterday also I told you, the Constitution of Britain, it is unwritten. So if you are able to learn at least 5 differences, okay, if you are able to learn all 7, that is well and good. But at least 5 differences you should write. At least 5 differences you should write. So let us now discuss the very short answers of this chapter. So what do you mean by constitution? What do you mean by constitution? Constitution is nothing but it is the set of rules and regulations. Okay, for the rulers and the ruled. So who are the rulers? The government. Okay, government is rulers and the people, they are called as ruled. Government is rulers and people, they are called as ruled. Then it also explains about the powers and functions of the government and rights and duties of the people. So what is a constitution? It is nothing but it is set of certain rules and regulations for the government and the people. So it explains how the government should perform certain functions. Okay, what are the powers of the government and what are the rights and duties of the people? That is mentioned in the Constitution. That is why we say it is the supreme law of land. Constitution, it is the supreme law of land. So if you are writing this like this, you will get 2 on 2. Okay. So please, students, focus more on 2 marks answers so that you can score 30 marks there. If you are writing 2 marks answers perfectly, you can score 2 on 2. So 15 questions, 30 marks. So let us move to the next question. What is an unwritten constitution? See, we have discussed this. So what is unwritten constitution? The constitution whose provisions are not written in a single document. It may not be a single document. Okay. Such constitution is called as unwritten constitution. It is based on customs and traditions, and these customs and traditions will become laws. Okay, it will become law. These customs and traditions are the basis for making laws. It is informal in nature. Example, Constitution of Britain or England, you can write it. Okay. Next is written constitution. What is a written constitution? A constitution which is prepared by a body of people called Constituent Assembly is a written constitution. That means it is prepared by a body of people called Constituent Assembly. Okay. It consists of rules and regulations of the government in a written form. It is written in a proper order. Okay, it is written in a proper order, and it also includes the rights and duties of the citizens. So, a written constitution, it protects the fundamental rights of the citizen. It is not easy to amend. It is not easy to change. So, the rights of the people are protected. Example of written constitution is Indian Constitution, Constitution of India. It is a written constitution. It is prepared by a body of people called Constituent Assembly. So let us now see flexible constitution. No. What is a flexible constitution? A constitution whose provisions can be amended easily. A constitution which can be changed easily. Okay, flexible constitution is a constitution which can be changed easily. So just now we have discussed an unwritten constitution is easy to amend. So unwritten constitution is always flexible. Unwritten constitution is always flexible. So if you want to amend a constitution, you can amend it through a procedure of amending ordinary laws. How we amend or change the ordinary laws? Similarly, constitutional laws can be amended or constitution can be amended. So, a country where you have unwritten form of constitution, there is no difference between the ordinary law and constitutional laws. There is no difference between ordinary laws and constitutional laws. So, example of unwritten constitution is England. So, unwritten constitution is always flexible. So, example of flexible constitution is also Constitution of England. Next is rigid constitution. What is a rigid constitution? Rigid, the word rigid means it cannot be changed easily. Okay, it cannot be changed easily. So, rigid constitution is one whose provisions we cannot change easily. Okay, so there is a difference between the amendment of ordinary laws and constitutional laws. Okay, there are amending constitutional laws or ordinary laws. There is difference. There are different methods. Okay, special procedure is followed for amending a rigid constitution. So, example of rigid constitution is Constitution of USA, or you can also write Constitution of India. Constitution of USA and Constitution of India. These are the examples of rigid constitution. Remember, yesterday also I told you, I explained you the classification. I told you constitution, basically, it is okay, constitution if we say it is of two types, that is enacted and evolved. Yesterday also I told you, I am repeating it. So enacted means it is prepared at a time. Okay, one time. So it is prepared by a body of people called Constituent Assembly. Whereas this evolved constitution, it is prepared. Boys students take care of the spellings. Most of the time, I have noticed that instead of writing prepared, students will write prepared, P-A-I-D. It is prepared. Okay, P-R-E-P-A-R-E-D, prepared, not prepaid. Okay, so it is prepared from time to time. Okay, so it is evolutionary in nature, it is evolved. So as it is prepared by a body of people called Constituent Assembly, it is rigid in nature. Okay, it is rigid, whereas it is flexible. Okay, it is flexible in nature. So all unwritten constitutions, they are flexible and evolved. And written constitution, it is rigid and enacted. Please keep these things in your mind. This is the basis. If you are able to understand this, then you can easily, write the answers. So let us see the next question. What is preamble? Okay, we have discussed, when I explained you about the features of the Constitution, I told you about preamble. It is one of the important feature of the Constitution. So what is preamble? Preamble, it is nothing but preamble is the introduction. It is the introduction to the Constitution. The introduction of the Constitution, the preface. Okay, and simple words we can say preface. If you see books, you have preface or introduction. So the introduction or preface of the Constitution, it is called as preamble. Okay, the introduction or preface of the Constitution is preamble. So every Constitution will have a preamble. Every Constitution will have preamble. In this preamble itself, the aims and objectives of the Constitution are mentioned. What is the aim of preparing this Constitution? That is mentioned in the preamble. So if, for example, if you read any book, when you read the introduction of that book or the preface of that book, you will understand, you will get an idea why this book has been written. Similarly, when you see the preamble of the Constitution, you will get an idea about the aims and aspirations of the Constitution. So the preamble, it is regarded as the soul of the Constitution. Preamble is regarded as the soul of the Constitution. As every Constitution will have a preamble, so it is an important feature of the Constitution. Preamble, it is an important feature of the Constitution. So when you are learning preamble in features of Constitution, you will be able to write it for 2 marks. Okay. So with this, we complete your okay. If this chapter is over now, we'll move to your next chapter. Your next chapter, another important chapter, you will get LAQ from this chapter. Okay, 11th chapter, that is organs of the government. Okay, the weightage for this chapter, if you can see, you have 17 marks. That is, you will get 1 LAQ, 1 SAQ, and 1 BSAQ from this chapter. The weightage is 17 marks. So, in this chapter, you will study about the organs of the government. See, from the beginning, when you have studied your first chapter, you studied about the government. We said that political science is the study of government. Then again, in second chapter, you have studied that state has 4 elements, and government is one of the element of the state. And government, it is of different types. Like, for example, we have parliamentary government, we have presidential government, right? So government is of different types. So whatever may be the type of government, every government will have 3 organs. Every government will have 3 organs. So in this chapter, you will study about the organs of the government. So what are the 3 organs of the government? We have discussed it before also. Legislature. See, your whole political science, first year and second year, it is about government mostly. So legislature, executive, and judiciary. These are the 3 organs of the government. And we have discussed in the previous chapter, that is constitution. It explains the rules and regulations for the government. Excuse me. So how these 3 organs function? Legislature, executive, judiciary, how do they work? How do they function? That is explained in the constitution. So in today's class, we will study about these 3 organs. What are their functions? Okay, what are the types? Okay, we will study about these 3 organs. If you see the questions on the board, okay, you have 3 LAQs. Okay, so we can expect 1 question out of these 3. Okay, mostly the first 2 are most important, are most repeated, but you should not ignore the third one. Sometimes they may ask you the third question. So it's better to learn all the 3 questions. Okay, so first question is it is about the legislature. Okay, what are the functions of legislature and what is the structure? What are the types and its structure of legislature? And second question is about executive and its functions. The third question is about judiciary. The third question is about judiciary and its functions. Okay, then coming to short answers. Here, you will study the reasons for decrease in the significance of legislature. Why the legislature has lost its significance. And the reasons for growth of importance or significance of executive. Then you will study what is judicial review, and you will also study in brief about rule of law. What is rule of law? Rule of law, we have discussed earlier also, rule of law means equality before law. So again, in this chapter, you will study about rule of law. So now coming to very short answers. This question, how many organs of government are there? What are they? This is the most repeated question for 2 marks. Okay, they may ask you this. This is most repeated. Then you have a theory of separation of powers, how the powers are divided between three organs of the government. Then what is plural executive? And when you study about executive, you will study about plural executive. Then judicial review, you are learning for 5 marks. So it will be easy for you. Then what is a Senate? Then unicameralism, bicameralism, and parliamentary executive. These are some of the repeated questions. You can expect one question out of these. If you are thorough with 8 questions, you will be able to write. So let us discuss the functions of the legislature. It is very simple chapter, ma. What are the functions of the legislature? For that, we need to understand 2 terms. One is unicameralism and bicameralism. Unicameralism and bicameralism. So uni means 1, bi means 2. So a legislature which has got 1 house, that is called as unicameral legislature, and the legislature which has got 2 houses, upper house and the lower house, such type of legislature, it is called as bicameral legislature. Okay, I hope I'm clear with this. The types of legislature, we have unicameral. When we say unicameral, the legislature will have only 1 house. And when we say bicameral, the legislature will have 2 houses. When we say 2 houses, it will have upper house and lower house. Upper house and lower house. So this is the types of legislature. And earlier we have discussed what is legislature. It is the law-making organ of the government. The government makes laws. Okay, we know that government makes the laws. So which organ of the government makes the laws? It is the legislative organ or the legislature which makes the laws. Legislature, it makes the laws. It is the law-making organ of the government. And this legislature is of 2 types, unicameral and bicameral. Unicameral means the legislature will have only 1 house, and bicameral means legislature will have 2 houses. Okay, upper house and the lower house. We can also say chambers. Okay, houses or chambers. See here. So the upper house, okay, the upper house, it represents the states, and the lower house, it represents the people. So usually the members of the upper house, they are indirectly elected, and the members of the lower house are directly elected by the people. So if we talk about our legislature, Indian Parliament, the Parliament of India, that is the central legislature of our country, it is bicameral in nature. It has got Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha, it is representing the people. It is the representation of people. It is the lower house. It is the lower house. Whereas Rajya Sabha, it represents the states. So it is the upper house. It is the upper house. Indian Parliament, it is bicameral. So the members of Lok Sabha, they are directly elected by the people. But the members of Rajya Sabha, the members are indirectly elected. Indirectly elected. Whereas the members of Lok Sabha, they are elected. Who elects them? The people elect them. Okay, so this is Indian Parliament. So the Lok Sabha, it is representing the people. The people of the country, they elect the members of Lok Sabha. So the election to the Lok Sabha is direct. Whereas the second house, that is the upper house, Rajya Sabha, it is the representation of the states. The members are indirectly elected here. So whatever may be the country, okay, whichever country, if they have bicameral legislature, okay, the members of the lower house, they are elected by the people. Then what about the members of the upper house? How does the upper house form? How does the upper house form? So let us see that. Okay, so the first is membership is hereditary. The members of the upper house, okay, they get the membership hereditary. That means, okay, if the father is a member of the upper house, his son will become the member of upper house. So here the membership can be hereditary. Okay, here the membership is hereditary. There are four different ways or forms how you get the membership into the upper house. The first is, it is hereditary. Then next is, the members are appointed by the executive. Like in India, the 12 members of Rajya Sabha. 12 members of Rajya Sabha, they are appointed or nominated, you can say, by the president. The president nominates 12 members to the Rajya Sabha. So here the members are appointed by the executive. Either the membership is hereditary or the members are appointed by the executive. In some countries, the members of the upper house are also directly elected. They are directly elected. And in some countries, the members are indirectly elected. So if you see in India, we have 245 seats in Rajya Sabha. So out of these 245 seats, 12 are nominated or appointed by president. Just now we have discussed it. Okay, they are nominated by the president, and remaining 233 members, they are indirectly elected. They are indirectly elected. Okay, they are indirectly elected. That is the method of forming the upper house. Any of the four. Okay, either the membership is hereditary, or it is, members are appointed by the executive, or there is direct election to the seat, or indirect election. Okay, so let us now see the functions of the legislature. What are the functions of the legislature? The first function, see, legislature itself, it is the law-making organ of the government. So the first function of the legislature is legislative function or legislature function. That is law-making. It is the basic function of the legislature. So laws are made after detailed discussion in the houses. Now, in India, we have two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. If any bill is passed, both the houses should accept that bill. Then the president should give his assent or approval. Then only that bill will become a law. So, after detailed discussions, the laws are made. What is the legislative or legislature function of the legislature? Legislative function of the legislature is law-making, the basic function. The main function of the legislature is law-making. Okay, these laws are made after thorough discussions, okay, detailed discussions. The next is functions to control executive. Okay, in parliamentary form of government, like in India, the executive is the part of legislature. The party which secures maximum seats or majority in the lower house, that party will form the government. Okay, so executive, they are coming from the legislature only. So, in parliamentary form of government, executive, as it is the part of the legislature, executive is responsible, that is answerable. Responsible means answerable. Executive is answerable to the legislature. Okay, if executives fail to perform or fail to, give satisfactory, responses to the legislature, then no confidence motion can be passed against the government. Okay, so legislature, it controls the executive by asking questions. Okay, the legislature will ask questions to the executive, and executives, they are answerable to the legislature. If executives, they fail to give satisfactory responses or answers, then resolutions can be passed against them, like no confidence motion. Okay, then the government has to prove its majority again. So, what legislature is doing? Legislature is controlling the executive. How it is controlling? It is controlling the executive by asking questions and passing resolution. So, what is the other function of the legislature? Legislature, it controls the executive. Legislature, it controls the executive. The first function is, it is the law-making organ of the government. All the laws are made after detailed discussions. Then second function is, it controls the executive. How it is controlling the executive? It is controlling the executive by asking questions and passing resolutions. Okay. The next is financial functions. Okay, financial functions, something related to the finances of the country. Okay, what does government do? Government impose tax on us, right? Okay, every year, government will present its budget in the parliament. And that budget, it, discuss about the taxes which are being imposed on the citizens. So, legislature has to approve the budget of the government. Okay, government cannot impose any tax on us without the approval of the legislature. Okay, approval of the legislature is necessary for imposing any tax or cancelling an old tax. For imposing new taxes and cancelling the old taxes, legislature should approve it. Then what is that they have to approve? They have to approve the budget. Okay. So that is the financial function of the legislature. Government cannot collect any tax from us without the approval of the legislature. Suppose if the budget of the government is rejected by the legislature, then the executive, that is Prime Minister and his ministers, have to resign. So while preparing the budget of the country, they have to be very careful. Okay. Next is judicial functions. What do you mean by judicial functions? Providing justice. Judiciary, it deals with justice, providing justice. So what is the judiciary function? The legislature has the power to remove the president, vice president, and the chief justice of Supreme Court and High Court by passing impeachment resolution. Impeachment is a kind of resolution which has to be passed